It's been almost a year into the coronavirus pandemic, and parents have seen their children go into this all-consuming digital life. And now that we're starting to see maybe a light at the end of the tunnel, they're getting a little concerned at what it's going to look like for our kids when we have to dramatically cut that screen time in half. Quite frankly, we might be looking at a screen time withdrawal for a lot of our children. In today's video, I want to discuss with you kind of like the warning signs and then maybe the symptoms and how we're going to be able to address and help our children cope as we gradually get rid of that screen time. And all of this is going to be backed by research. Welcome back. If this is our first time meeting, my name is Alicia and welcome to my channel. Here, my passion is to provide you with parenting tools, not tips, tricks, or hacks, but parenting tools that have an applied behavior analysis foundation, and I like to think that I make them user-friendly. Now, I want to set you guys up for success. I like to make these videos relatively short. The odds are you're a caregiver and you have a short amount of time that you're working with anyways, so go get yourself a notebook because I'm about to drop that knowledge. Now, before I dive into the warning signs that your child might be experiencing some screen time withdrawals, please don't get it twisted. I am not saying that screen time is the root of all evil by any stretch of the imagination. Research has proven time and time again that there are benefits to educational TV, interactive iPad games, things like that, that toddlers, adolescents, preteens can all benefit from. I simply want to address the inadvertent increase of that screen time and why that your child might be acting out. Okay, so let's discuss some warning signs of screen time withdrawal. And by that I mean, are their behaviors a potential product of that inadvertent increase in screen time that most of our kids have experienced over the past year? First and foremost, is it really difficult for you to end screen time? And I am talking about beyond those typical whiny negotiation skill behaviors, okay? I am talking, does it look ugly? Are you getting some aggressive outbursts? Are you getting these drawn out tantrums every time you try to end screen time? Secondly, does or has their tolerance seem to have increased? Do they seem preoccupied with screen time every time you end it? Are they kind of jonesing? Are they asking you like, when's the next time that they're gonna get that screen time? When maybe in previously to this past year, they would have otherwise been engaged in some sort of independent play. And lastly, is your kiddo motivated by screen time? So are you able to use it as, okay, first do this and then you get that? Are you able to get your kiddo to comply with a lot of tasks that maybe they wouldn't have otherwise done without using that screen time kind of as a leverage? If you are checking boxes of any one of those 1, 2, 3 main big warning signs, then your child might be experiencing that screen time withdrawal. Those negative behaviors are a result of that increased screen time. Now, I want to start discussing with you what maybe our next steps are going to be. How are we going to address that screen time withdrawal that your kiddo is experiencing? Now, I want to be realistic with you and understand that most households have in general relaxed with their screen time regulations because screen time has become a source of social life for our children, school life, and it is in general kind of used as an outlet for our children. But unfortunately, that abrupt change has lasted so much longer than most of us have thought. So now we kind of have to deal with those consequences. And how are we going to adapt? How do we change that for our children so they're not experiencing this withdrawal? First and foremost, what you want to do, number one, is you want to develop and you want to create a routine for your children. You want to put screen time into their routine so they know when to expect it. Now, it can be something as simple as your kid can have screen time while mom and dad are making dinner. Or it can be, my kids, you can have screen time while I'm putting the other one to sleep kind of thing. But as long as your child knows when to anticipate that screen time, it decreases the potential for more irritability. Secondly, do not end screen time in the middle of a scene or in the middle of a game level, okay, you are going to be asking for an epic meltdown. You want to be intentional on when you end screen time. And by that, I mean, if you're walking into a room and it's time to have dinner and your kid's playing a game, at that point it needs to be, okay, well, when this level is over or when you get to X, Y, and Z point, you need to pause it, save it, and it's time for dinner. Same thing when you're walking in and your kid's watching a movie. I don't know, your kids are probably watching the same movie or the same shows over and over again like mine are. And it becomes when a certain scene comes to an end, now it's time to pause and we're gonna go have dinner. Again, you want to end screen time intentionally. Next, we are going to have screen time only be in a designated area in our home. This allows for structure for their kiddos. So not that they're thinking and they're sitting at the dinner table and they're like, oh, hey, can I have my tablet right now? No, you can only have screen time in the living room. You can only have it in the playroom, something like that. You want to provide that structure so they can anticipate, and there's not necessarily kind of like this, I can have it whenever, however I want. No, we still want to have some sort of limitations on it. And lastly, let's have some family activities, okay? You want something for your kiddo to look forward to just as much as they look forward to doing that next game level or seeing the next scene in the movie. You want them to look forward to some sort of activity. And again, think back to all the things that they did or the things that they liked to engage in independently before screen time was had such massive involvement in their lives. Now, it is super important to note that anytime you place restrictions on anything that your children do, you're gonna be met with kickback. It's only natural. Now, at this point, you're gonna be setting restrictions and limitations on something that has become a vessel for our children's school life, social life, and just their general outlet. So this kickback is gonna be massive, okay? It is going to be a lot bigger. But as long as you set those boundaries and stand firm, those tantrums, those aggressive behaviors, those negative behaviors are going to be short-lived. If, however, you're wayward on them and you stick firm one day and then the next day you don't do it, those tantrums and those negative behaviors are going to last longer and they're going to be bigger. Again, my recommendation is you need to set those boundaries and be very clear with your children what those boundaries are. And as long as you stand by it, it's going to be so much easier for everybody involved. Technology is super important in today's life. There is no doubt in that. But everything is great in moderation, right? And with that, it wraps it up for me today, guys. So if you found value in today's video, don't forget to hit subscribe and that little bell icon so you can get notified of any future videos and trainings that I do, and I do try to do them weekly. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.